right. Good morning. Um, it's Saturday morning. Normally we're prepping Red Handed Doom. We are going to prep some Red Handed Doom this morning. But before I do, I wanted to take a few minutes to acknowledge that today is the 10th anniversary of Heroic Maps, starting to make and sell maps for tabletop RPG games. So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal, and I can't say enough good things about Heroic Maps. Um, when I first started running games online, it was through like Google Meets and using Photoshop because they hadn't invented any VTTs yet. But that was like kind of rudimentary stuff. Then when Roll20 launched, I was like, we need to find some good maps, and Heroic Maps was there. They were making it happen. When my friend Wes and I decided that we wanted to try and make a West Marches game online through Roll20, we didn't have to look very far. Heroic Maps was there, and we used their essentially their forest tile set to flesh out the entire region, surface region of Paradise Vale, and we used their maps for all of the below ground locations and things like that as well, and it just grew. Like, their library and selection of maps is massive. And I do want to preface this. It's a little, I guess we're a little late to go, but 2 minutes in, I want to preface this. This is not a sponsored stream. I have worked with Heroic Maps in the past, and they are fantastic, but they did not ask me to say these things. They probably don't want me to say these things, if being honest, because sometimes I can run off at the mouth. And I don't use a script and all that. But hashtag not sponsored. They're my favorite map makers, and their maps are incredible. Their Patreon only costs $5 a month, and you get like 3 or 4 maps for $5. Sometimes with variations of existing maps. Sometimes maps will be in a series, so over the course of several months, you'll get floors of a dungeon or parts of a town that connect together. It's a tremendous value for only $5 a month. There's no hidden fees. There's no secret stuff. You get to vote on maps. One time, I still remember one time, I actually won the thing to pick out a map, and I asked for a clock tower because at the time there weren't a lot of clock tower maps out there, and I needed a clock tower map. So, like, overall, just an incredible value and incredible quality. But we're talking about 10 years of making maps and making 3 or 4 or 5 maps a month for 10 years, maybe more. Also, tile sets that you can use to make your own maps, either using the tiling tools in your VTT or going into Photoshop and assembling your maps there. Just a tremendous value, a tremendous variety, and I love them so much. And I can look at their maps and I can retrace my journey from first getting into online D&D to starting up as a paid DM, to publishing my own adventure in partnership with them, which was just a huge milestone in my life. I was very happy about that. And even to this day, with all of the great options out there and all of the amazing map makers, obviously my other top map makers would be Afternoon Maps, phenomenal. Zafiku, top of their game, tremendous. Tom Cardos, extremely good. And then I do like making my own stuff nowadays in Incarnate, but that has not changed the fact that these guys are still, in my book, number one, and they are the ones that I go to first when I'm looking for maps. So I do have to prep Red Handed Doom this morning. I'm also recovering from oral surgery. I had a tooth removed yesterday, so too much talking might be too much talking, but I do want to go over what's going on right now. They're having a sale over at RPG, Drive-Thru RPG. So let me post that into chat real quick, and I guess I'll put it in the description for the VOD. I don't know how long that sale is going on, but it looks like everything is anywhere between like, I don't know, 25 to 75% off, depending on the map. Again, so many incredible maps, so much beautiful art, so many stories waiting to be told. I'm a huge proponent, a huge supporter of digital maps, and I always have been since the beginning. When there weren't a lot of digital map makers out there, and Heroic Maps was one of the only like go-to ones that there was, I would push this product just as hard as I push it now. When you are running a game online, there are so many distractions, right? People could have their phones out. They could be playing World of Warcraft in another browser. They could be grinding that Diablo 4 character. They could be in a chat room with somebody. You don't know what they're doing, right? Because they're not sitting at the table, and you don't have that human engagement. You don't have that eye contact. You don't have that gravitas of being in person. A good map can bring people into the scene. A good map will draw them in. It will give them something to look at and something to immerse them in the game. You're not so good at painting a scene with your words. You're not very good at descriptions. You're not taking advantage of the Describe service, hashtag not sponsored. You're not using ChatGPT to help you with descriptions. You got a crappy store-bought adventure that didn't include a lot of nice descriptions for the rooms. That's okay. You can look at these maps and they will inspire you to talk about what the players see. They are so busy and so full of life. There is furniture, there is decorations, there's debris on the ground, there's barrels and crates. What's in them? I don't fucking know. They're all here enhancing that experience, drawing people in, creating that immersion and helping you with that immersion. One of the things I love about these kind of maps is that because they are so detailed, so goddamn detailed, it will make your players think more creatively about the scenes that they are in. Well, I'm going to push these barrels in front of the door. I'm going to jump off of this table. I'm going to flip this table over and use it as a barricade. I want to cause that chandelier to fall down on this guy. What about this suit of armor? I want to cast animate object on it. There's all these things happening in the map. The maps are telling stories. There are frequently times, and if you watch my my prep streams, you know this is true, where I don't exactly know what I'm going to do for a side quest or filler content or custom content for the players. I will look at a heroic map, and the heroic map will help me tell the story. As I'm writing my notes, I will look and say, oh, this is the perfect place for this. Oh, man, could you imagine what would happen right here? Oh, this is excellent. This is the exact place where we could have this happen. I wonder what this statue's about. Maybe, ... They are phenomenal. Whew. Okay, so Dom in chat saying Heroic Maps is awesome. Pretty big help for Cyberpunk too. Yes, they don't just have fantasy maps. They have sci-fi maps as well, and they have a few of those sci-fi maps that would work very well for Cyberpunk, right? Catazor, hello, what's up? Never heard of Heroic Maps. Looks amazing. It is amazing. They are absolutely phenomenal. So recently I ran a Star Wars side quest for my Mythic game, for Mythic Odyssey, and let me see if I can get that going without too many spoilers. Oh no! All right, hold on. Let's see if I can show you that without getting too many spoilers. Let's see. Close this down. Let's see. Alexa, stop the alarm. Alright, let's see. Isle of Time. Where are the Star Wars maps? Hold on. Okay. So, they had just a straight up Star Destroyer. Like, just a Star Destroyer. Just real cash Star Destroyer. Not just the outside of the Star Destroyer, but they have the inside of the Star Destroyer as well. And I'm talking multiple floors, elevators connecting the different floors, staircases connecting the different floors, crew quarters, engineering, power cell, the whole deal. Is this the same as running a real Star Destroyer? Absolutely not. The size of an aircraft carrier. We don't have enough maps for that. Did it do everything I needed it to do and make us feel like we had taken a side quest into Star Wars? Oh yeah, absolutely. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. The care, the detail, the work that they put into these products is incredible. So I love it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. They got towns, they got villages, they've got entire communities with interiors for every kind of shop that you could imagine. They got inns, they got taverns, they got multiple floors on those inns and taverns. They got mansions, they got windmills, they got farmlands. I am telling you, anytime I need a map, they're gonna have something that will do what I need. And because I'm a patron and I do that $5 a month on Patreon for the past several years, I got 5 years, 6 years now. I don't know how long I've been doing it. I have hundreds of their maps, and then whenever an opportunity comes along to jump on a sale like they're having right now, where everything is 25 to 75% off, I go and I just fill it out. See? 10th birthday to celebrate all digital titles are marked down 60%. There we go, 60% on everything. I could walk you through some of these maps and some of the things that I have done and seen and adventures that I have had on these maps, and maybe I'll do that for a couple of minutes real quick. So first of all, there's Lanternwick Heights, which was a haunted mansion, and this is one that I partnered with them to make an adventure, which you could pick up if you want to, but no pressure. And this was, for me, such an incredible experience and such a fun map because it had everything. It had the creepy conservatory outside. It had the spooky basement. It had the attic workshop. It is a fantastic. And the details here, as I was writing the adventure, I could just zoom in and go room by room and be inspired by what I saw there, and it would help me craft better encounters, stronger encounters. I loved it. I just loved it. This is the Star Destroyer here. If you go, you see that they have all of these different categories, and they also have a Foundry section. A ton of their maps are already built and set up for Foundry. You purchase them, you install them, and they already have the walls and the lighting. And let me tell you, that is a plus because a lot of these maps are so organic that the amount of twists and turns and bumps that you're going to have to make in the walls, the amount of doors you're going to have to add, you're going to appreciate having that already done for you. If you're still on Roll20 and you're Roll20 Kid, they now are available on Roll20 as well. Absolutely phenomenal. When I started Ghost of Saltmarsh and Skull and Shackles, I really loved pirates and I needed pirate maps. I didn't have to look too far. They had a whole section on pirate maps, including airship maps, floating islands, and the like. All weather, all sections, Caribbean, all the way up to Norse frozen islands and whatnot. Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, obviously they're on a boat for a good chunk of the game. I needed island maps. I needed beach maps. They delivered. Just incredible stuff, incredible value, incredible products. So there are packs that just have entire coastlines. So maybe you need some beach maps. You can pick up packs that just have a bunch of beach maps. Now you have different maps depending on what islands they go to in your campaign or what part of the island they're going to disembark onto. Nothing kind of sets the pace for a mysterious island quite like having them land on the beach and they don't know if that first encounter on the beach is going to be a roleplay, an exploration, or a combat. You put them on that island and now they're engaged, right? It could still be theater of the mind, but it could be maybe something's going to come out of the bushes. Maybe something's going to rise up on the beach. What do they do now? What do they do next? It's all covered, and it's phenomenal. What about the ships? They got ships too. There are map packs that are just full of boats. They got airships. They've got Viking ships, and of course, they've got your classic pirate ships. The one type of ship that I haven't seen so far is just a massive, like, brigandine style ship. Most of the ships are galley class or smaller. But we've got one here called Boarding Action with 2 ships that are like locked in combat. We've got sunken ships. And then if you watched Skull and Shackles, you will recognize right away so many of the ships that they encountered during the campaign were just taken directly from here, including the final encounter of the campaign, which took place on the essentially the King of Pirates. Not to go to One Piece on you, but the King of Pirates ship that was kind of hidden away in a secret cove. It's all here and it's all covered. It's just so good. It's just so good. I don't know. Again, I'm a huge fanboy for this map maker and the work that they do, but I feel like my feelings are not misplaced. This really is just a phenomenal map making in action, and just there's so much here. So, checking chat real quick. What are you looking for, Kazar? I love using Rogue Maps for buildings like manors, castles, cyberpunk stuff, but they have a wide variety that probably have a map for you. Absolutely. If you want to do Vikings, they have several map packs just full of Vikings. I know Vikings are real hot right now, Serpent Seas and the like. What about like these tile sets that I'm talking about? Well, here you got a modular haunted mansion. So room by room, you can build your own haunted mansion. This is just a sample layout, but you take these tiles and you either use, again, the tile tools in your VTT or Photoshop or GIMP or whatever you're using, and 176 different tiles that you could put together to make yourself your own custom haunted house. It's just great. One of the things that I had considered for Castle Ravenloft, because the castle is alive, one of the custom encounters I was thinking about was a labyrinth of moving and shifting floors. How better to simulate that than just taking a bunch of random rooms from this tile set and just linking them together in a nonsensical way, a haunted house labyrinth, essentially, quick and easy to create. So, other tile sets that I've used in the past, they have a sewer set, which is fantastic. They have a I've used that many times. They have a ruins set that I've used many times before. They have a library set. So I've built for my Hero Quest campaign that I ran. One of the campaigns took place in a library that had been taken over by wild magic users. And so they had turned the library into a labyrinth. And so every passage was just more books, more library, and teleporters kind of linking things together. It made no sense whatsoever, but it was library themed throughout because there was an entire tile set just for that library. There was also a tile set with pumpkins, which, I mean, what? Tile set with pumpkins? Yeah, and so I actually made a Halloween themed dungeon for Storm King's Thunder that was entirely pumpkin themed, and so it was a dungeon that was just full of pumpkins. I just love it so much. I just love it so much. Let me see if I can find the link to the tile sets real quick. Let's see. Okay, modular kits. Here we go. Yeah, and this doesn't just, again, it doesn't just mean fantasy maps. They've got sci-fi. You want to have an actual Star Destroyer? You want to have the actual Death Star? Well, here you go. They've got tile sets for a space station. So you can go through and build the space station any way you want, any size you want, as many floors as you want. They've got all the stuff here. It's just crazy. You want to build your own city? They've got city sets. You want to build your own towns? They got town sets. You need maps for the Underdark? They've got that covered. Dwarven Ruins, I've used many times to create my own custom dungeons for that. They got mines, so you can do tile sets of ancient mines that they have to explore. So the tile sets are tremendous, but maybe you don't have time to build the dungeon yourself, you don't want to use the modular kit, that's okay. They also have something called stories. Let me see if I can find the link to their stories. Here we go. So stories are map packs that tell a story. They are essentially multiple maps in a series that you can use to create linked encounters. So you head over here to the Chamber of the Copper Skulls. Here's the exterior as they explore around. Maybe they got an encounter here as they're exploring. Then they start to go below ground and you have more encounters. Then they go even deeper into the dungeon below. So these story sets cover a whole theme of encounters that are related to each other, whether it's one dungeon or a series of areas that are all linked together. The stories are phenomenal, just really, really good for having a series of encounters all in a row. All right, and then let's see. The last one I want to show you is they have these giant maps here. And the giant maps are generally 50 by 50 or bigger. And these maps are great for VTT because, again, we don't really have any size limitations when we run things on VTT. So these giant maps can create just massive sprawling encounters, really good for pitched battles against very large monsters or very large flying monsters, different like scenes that might be taking place during a battle or a war. Yeah, these giant maps are perfect for kind of capturing just the scale and the scope of a really big encounter. And I did say that was the last thing, but I mentioned at the very beginning that when we ran our West Marches game, we picked up outdoor tile sets. And so if you look at these Explorer maps, they have large areas, but they also have all maps that are themed to an area. So do you need forest paths? Do you need a bunch of forest maps that all look like they're from the same forest? This is where you would go to handle that sort of content. Again, they got everything covered. It's fantastic. All right, so I have gone on for about 22 minutes about how much I love Heroic Maps, but now it is up to you whether or not you want to check them out on Patreon or on DriveThruRPG. I would say that now is the time to strike. 60% off all of the stuff means you could pick up some really incredible maps, some bundles, some map packs, whatever you're looking for. This is a great time to kind of give them a shot. And if you like what you see, for $5 a month on Patreon, you're going to get 3 or more maps every single month. Gorgeous content. I love it. Again, hashtag not sponsored, but they are incredible. All right. I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to spin my chair around. I'm going to go take some more pain meds from my mouth. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to do about 40 minutes of prep for Red Hand of Doom. And then we're going to run Red Hand of Doom today from 10 to 2. So I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. And I will see you next time.